An Unspoken Voice. Chapter 3. A chance was all I needed. A chance to be something more than a child of shame. But who would give a cursed-throat a chance? My chance came one day after school. The final class of the day had let out, and the halls were mostly empty. I was on my way to the restroom to clean out the cut in my forehead that Siley's water bottle had given me earlier that day. There was a bulletin board next to the restroom. Students used to put sign-up sheets, pieces of the school paper, and stuff like that on it. I didn't usually stop and look at the things that were on it. I always saw most of them as more reason for the others to hurt me. But that day, I did, and something caught my attention. It was a small white cutout of the school paper that said a member of the Kazi was coming to the school. The Kazi was an elite force of strictly female warriors that served as border patrol and the Royals' personal guards. One of their members was coming to the school to find new recruits for the Kazi and for the male counterpart, the Calico. Unlike most things, this sparked my interest. 2 days later, I went to the tryouts. I changed into my sports clothes, entered the school gymnasium. There were quite a few other people there, kids trying out, other students who weren't participating, and family members who came to watch. In the crowd was Siley. I nearly had second thoughts when I saw her, but I wasn't going to let myself back down just yet.
"Alright everyone, if you're here for the tryouts, please line up in the center of the gym," shouted a young woman in the center of the gym. She looked strong and intimidating, dressed in a uniform of black and white. I knew she was the Kazi. I walked up to the end of the line and stood 4 feet away from the last person on the right. I wasn't supposed to get too close to people. The Kazi began walking down the line, asking us our names. But when she came to me, "Hey girlie, you trying?" For a moment I thought she was talking to someone else, but I quickly realized she was talking to me. "Yes, ma'am." "Then why aren't you on the line?" "Well, you see..."
"Oh my gosh, is that the freak? Hey, idiot, detention's down the hall!"
Siley cut me off. An eruption of laughter came from the rest of the students. "Hey, little miss, I won't be tolerating any kind of name-calling in here, okay?" said the Kazi, and she turned back to me. "Now, girlie, why aren't you on the line?"
"I'm not allowed to stand next to them."
"What do you mean you're not allowed to stand next to them? Are you sick or something?"
"No, I'm not sick, ma'am."
"Then what's the problem?"
"I'm not considered equal, ma'am. I can't stand next to them."
"Do your teachers know about this?"
"They're the ones who enforce it, ma'am."
"Well, not in here. Get in the line. What's your name, girlie?"
"Anastasia, ma'am." I took a few steps towards the guy at the end of the line and took my spot. He stepped away from me. He can't win it all, I thought to myself.
"Okay, for everyone who is here, my name is Lieutenant Aubrey, and I will be in charge of you for today. So no funny business. I know what your kids can get up to." Everyone gave a quick chuckle. "I'm sure that y'all know the reason you are here, but I'm going to tell you anyway. You have all volunteered to try out to see if y'all what it takes to be part of the next generation of the most elite military force. All y'all gonna have to do is take part in some little tests." The little tests consisted of obstacle courses and self-defense drills. The others didn't know it, but I was very strong and very fast. I excelled at the courses, finishing the top 3 in most of them. For the first time, I was having fun and enjoying myself. I had forgotten what it felt like. We were taking a quick break before beginning the self-defense drills. I turned to see that Siley and some of her friends were talking to Lieutenant Aubrey and pointing at me. Great, they got me in trouble, I thought. So I walked back to my stuff and began to pack up. "Where do you think you're going, soldier?" Lieutenant Aubrey asked while I was putting my stuff away.
"You're not going to send me to the office?"
"Why would I send you to the office?"
"Because Siley told you something and now you're going to kick me out and send me to the office?"
Miss Smith did come over and told me that you tripped her up on one of the courses, but I wanted to get your side of the story.
You're not going to believe me, but no, I did not trip her up.
Why wouldn't I believe you? You seem like a good kid. You obey orders.
I moved my hair off my face, and she gasped.
Where did you get that cut?
The cut in my forehead I had gotten from Xylie's water bottle a few days prior had scabbed over by then, but it still wasn't pretty. Water bottle, ma'am.
Water bottle?
Xylie's.
Did Miss Smith do this to you, or a water bottle?
Xylie's water bottle hit me in the head.
Did Miss Smith swing it, or was it someone else?
Well...
Come on, sugar, you're not gonna get in trouble for this.
It was Xylie. Did you tell anyone about this? No, ma'am.
Well, why not?
No one would believe me, ma'am.
Surely your principal would believe you about this. You have visible injuries.
No, ma'am. He wouldn't. If I went to him with any complaints, I would immediately be given 3 months of weekend detention.
Would your teachers do that?
I didn't say anything, but gave a small nod.
Why in the name of the Great Protector would they do that?
Because they don't believe me. They would say I did to myself to get attention, ma'am.
I don't believe that. There's no way you could have done this much damage to yourself. Not if you were in your right mind, at least.
Anastasia, why do you let them do this to you? Because I don't matter, ma'am? I took a deep breath. I'm a cursed throat. I expected her to start yelling at me for making her worry over nothing, or something else like that. But to my surprise, I saw a sad look on her face.
Does Miss Smith do things like this to you often?
She gently touched the scab on my forehead. Everyone does.
Well, you're not going anywhere today. You're going to stay for the rest of the triads. Now come on, going to pair up and learn self-defense.
I'm going to get in trouble if I harm one of them.
Not on my watch.
Lieutenant Aubrey paired each of us up for an attack and blocking drill. I got Xylie as a partner. I don't know if Lieutenant Aubrey planned this knowing that I would love trying to punch her, or if it was a blind guess. Either way, I was happy and scared, though Xylie was not thrilled.
Aubrey, why do you have to be paired with this freak?
She didn't answer Xylie's question.
Look, freak, if you touch me even once, you and your pathetic little family will be paying for months of therapy and medical treatment.
I'm not contagious.
Shut up, peasant!
We began to do the drill. However, after Xylie did it one time, she wouldn't set up so I could practice. Xylie?
Smith, to you.
Xylie said as she looked at her phone. Are you going to set up? It's my turn.
Okay, listen. You are here to serve me, not the other way around.
No, that's not what...
You are a servant.
I was done with her. I gave her 15 seconds to set it before I hit her in the face. Xylie didn't listen. She let out a shriek that nearly shattered my eardrums and the windows of the gym. In 2 seconds, Xylie's mother, whom had come to watch her, came running. "My darling, are you all right?" The crazed-eyed woman looked up at me. You spoiled rotten brat, you injured my angel!" She then raised her bag and started swinging it at my head, while continuing to scream at me. I just stood there, made myself numb again, and took the blows. I don't remember exactly when Lieutenant Aubrey stepped in, but I snapped out of my trance when I realized the bag wasn't hitting me anymore.
"Just what do you think you're doing?" Lieutenant Aubrey snapped.
"Defending my daughter from this disgusting curse-throat."
"Okay, lady, there are children present. No need for that kind of language."
"Oh, let the children hear. They all need to know that there is a lesser being in this room who should have died at birth."
"Ma'am, you need to calm down. You have no right to speak to this girl or me in such a manner." Xylie's mother scoffed.
"No right? Do you know who I am? I am part of the Royal Council. You are a simple gym teacher. If you don't step aside and let me discipline this waste of air, I will make your life a living nightmare."
Ma'am, I am Lieutenant Jenna Frost Aubrey of the Kazi, and I can have you arrested. Now that wouldn't look like too good on your record, would it, Councilwoman Crazy Lady? She then turned to me. What happened? Xylee did the drill once. Then it was my turn, but she didn't set up. I told her that I was going to perform the drill, and she didn't listen. I quietly answered. You're really going to listen to the lies of this soulless creature who injured my daughter? Ma'am, please stop with the disrespect. This girl is a person like you or me. Your daughter doesn't really have serious injuries compared to what she did to this girl. Xylee's face was red, but it wasn't from blood. It was from the mountain of lipstick she had put in her face that morning. Oh, please, it isn't a person. It does not have rights, and it does not have feelings. I demand that it is not allowed to finish the tryouts and make my daughter a Kazi. I'm sorry, ma'am, but your daughter, who I now see is definitely not Kazi material, will be not allowed to finish the tryouts. If you don't want me to tell my superiors about your behavior today, then you will take your daughter, leave the school, and leave this girl and her family alone, because a public freakout would not help you stay in your comfortable council seat. Xylee's mother only scoffed and walked off with Xylee in tow. Lieutenant Aubrey turned back to me. Are you alright, sugar? You're bleeding. I am? I didn't even notice. Xylee's mother's bag had big golden spikes on it. They were a dull plastic, but still sharp enough to cut my face. Yeah, you are, sugar. She took a good long look at me. Did you even feel the bag hit you? No. Really? It was nothing compared to what I usually get from the others. Okay, do your parents pick you up from school? Yes, ma'am. I want to talk to them. About 2 hours later, I was waiting outside the school with Lieutenant Aubrey, and my forehead bandaged. The school nurse was at first unconvinced that I needed care, but Lieutenant Aubrey talked some sense into her. My mother walked up to us and immediately started apologizing for whatever I did, but Lieutenant Aubrey informed her that I was not in trouble. She wanted me to join her and the other kids who qualified for the Calico and Kazi. I was amazed. My mother was unsure and told Lieutenant Aubrey that she would have to discuss it with my father and grandmother. That night, the discussion at dinner was whether I would go or not.
You know it will fail,
my grandmother said. Excuse me? My father said after nearly choking on his dinner.
You know what I mean. If you send it to that program, it will fail in the first month and have to come back here. And we'll get nothing but debt, my grandmother complained. The program is free, my mother said. And how do you think she will fail, my father said. It is a curse throat. It will fail at everything. Plus, it is not fitting for a girl to be in military forces. Well, if an ancient traditional military force of only women isn't fit for a girl, then what do you suggest? My mother asked with great sarcasm. An arranged marriage, said my grandmother. The table went silent. What? My father said. You heard me. The only way it will be able to bring honor to this family is if it bears successful children. This is its only chance, and it's the only thing fitting for a young girl. I have already chosen a suitor. I just need your approval, Christian, said my grandmother. Mother, no. Anastasia is 15. She will not be married off this young, said my father. This is the best possible path. Electra and Violet have promising careers ahead of them, and Jacob with his sports abilities also has a bright future. If you don't marry Anastasia off, then you will be stuck forever with this shameful stain, said my grandmother. I was shocked and furious. They were discussing my future as if I wasn't in the room. They didn't believe I could make a solid choice like my siblings. They didn't believe in me. But Lieutenant Aubrey did. So the first time, I raised my voice. Does no one care about what I want to do with my life? Shut your mouth this instant, Grandmother hissed. No, I'm tired of being quiet. I get a say in my life? I asked. You ungrateful child. You're lucky my son took pity on you. If it were my choice, he would have been thrown out of the streets that night.
Mother, please, think of the children, my father interjected.
Oh, you bet I'm thinking of the children. How do you think having this creature in you children will affect them? It'll show them it is all right to be rude and heartless. One of them is bound to turn into a psychopath thanks to it.
My grandmother shouted. I am right here. If you have something to say, you can say it to me. I have made my decision. I'm going, shouted.
Shut your mouth this instant. No, you will not be going and becoming a hooligan. You will be married in 2 years' time. You have no choice. This is your path and has been decided. It is the will of the Great Protector,
shouted my grandmother.
No, you have decided, not the Great Protector. And even if it is the Great Protector's will, I am a cursed throat. I was thrown out. I am not part of its plan. I don't have to follow it, shouted.
You still have to honor the people who were stubborn enough of not to throw you out in the streets. This is what you have to do. You owe us, my grandmother shouted.
No, I don't owe anything. At least not to you. All you ever been to me is a witch that has been poisoning me ever since I was 6. My blood was boiling, and it felt as if a weight was coming off of my shoulders. I don't owe you anything. My grandmother then rose out of her chair, raised her birch branch cane, and swung it down onto my head. I was sprawling onto the floor, where she continued to beat me, all while shouting, "You will do as you're told!" My mother stepped in and pulled the cane away from her. I slowly lifted myself off the ground. My body was aching. The stinging pain of all the cuts and bruises the cane left made me shake. My mother tried to help me, but I pulled away. I glared daggers at my family before running up the stairs to my room in the attic. I crawled into my bed, wanting warm tears to streak my face, but I had nothing left to cry.
Ernest, are you all right?
My brother asked as he climbed on the ladder into my room. It was a few hours after dinner. He was fully dressed in puppy dog PJs. Sometimes I miss that goofball. No, Jake, I'm not.
You know Mom and Dad would never allow this to happen.
I'm not so sure. When it comes to the family matriarch, the most they ever had done was stop her before she killed me.
Hey, just keep your head up. They'll put her in her place,
my brother said while sitting down on the bed. No, they won't. They're too scared. I can't do this anymore.
Do what?
Living like this, constantly looking over my shoulder to make sure no one's there with a bat, hiding my belongings so that no one steals or breaks them. I'm so tired of being dirt.
You're not dirt, and you never will be. Believe me, one day everyone is going to wake up, and they will be sorry that they ever thought of hurting you.
I wish I could believe that. No one wants me.
Hey, I will always want you. Just not as a girlfriend because you're my sister and you're not my type.
Oh, shut up. I playfully punched his shoulder. That's gross. He chuckled. My point is,
someone will want you, cursed throat or not.
You should get some sleep. It'll be better in the morning. He hugged me.
Good night, Ernest.
Sally's mother scoffed. No, right. Do you know who I am? I am part of the Royal Council. You are a simple gym teacher. If you don't step aside, let me discipline this waste of air, and I will make your living world a nightmare. Nope.
Please like and subscribe to help this channel grow and for more awesome content like this. Bye now!